What do you need to build a humanoid robot? In today's episode, we're gonna dive into hardware that is necessary to build this complex robot. So stay with us and enjoy this episode.
Automation Awakenings, your weekly dose of best practices for logistics automation.
Welcome back to another episode of the Automation Awakenings podcast. And we are back in our studio after many ventures in other countries. With me, as always, Oliver Zuchowski, right back in the Stuttgart studio. Welcome to the show, Olli.
Yes, thank you very much, Mattias. Nice to be here, back with you, with a cool topic again.
Right, we want to continue to talk about humanoid robots, and we want to analyze the different hardware parts that you need to build this device. So maybe let's take a human as an example and go step by step through different body functions and body parts, and then compare what a humanoid would use in terms of hardware. Olli, what is your favorite part of your body?
Well, I like to know and to see what's going on around me. So I really like my senses.
The senses, yes, that's a very important one. And of course, the humanoid robot also needs senses to get along in its environment.
Yes, and these senses in the humanoid language are sensors.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, so the device, he or she, knows what is happening out there to react and to also interact with the environment.
Right. So, most important sense for you, Olli?
My eyes.
Your eyes. Perfect. I guess the humanoid would agree to this. So, we have vision sensors.
Absolutely. And these are cameras.
Yeah.
Usually very typical. One or two or even more. Sometimes even completely around the whole device.
Okay.
Sometimes human style with these two eyes also on a similar level or position. Yeah, if the humanoid has a real head, you're applying two cameras to see.
Very good. So we have the cameras in all different places with all different, lenses, of course. But then you also need to orientate yourself. So you see you're somewhere. Okay, are you standing? Are you upside down? Are you lying? Are you flying? And this is exactly where LiDAR kicks in. One of the technologies we know really well from mobile robots, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, a humanoid can use here the same technology as our AGV and AMR colleagues, because it also needs to navigate in a certain area, recognize contours around it, and to know where he is and where to go and which route to take.
Right. And I think together with LiDARs, we can also mention radars and all different forms that are used by humanoids to simply navigate the space and to locate themselves in certain rooms.
Yes, I read that there are two categories of these type of sensors. First, we have the proximity sensors. Here also LiDARs, all kinds of laser technology would be part of it. And to see what's nearby.
Yeah.
And the next level would be already the touch sensor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
To interact with an object.
Right. So I think this is the next category of sensors, of senses. Same as with us as humans, we need touch senses to navigate the environment that is around us. And the same, of course, goes for the humanoid robot. So let's also tick this off as the next sensor category that you will need if you want to build one.
Yes, and this is actually pretty tricky, right? I mean, our whole body is covered with skin, and it's basically fully equipped with a touch sensor. You will feel every touch on your body. A humanoid needs to get this feature. It cannot be covered completely, but added to the right part of it, like the hands or the legs, depending what it's doing.
Yeah, totally agree to this, Ollie. So, one more proof of what miracle actually our body is, being covered with skin all over the place that is sending you those touch signals all the time. So, to not stress our touch signal in the butt. Can you say that?
Awesome.
To not stress it too much here, let's continue. The next one would be, of course, the ears. So, microphones.
Yes, of course. I mean, you would like to talk to the humanoid. He needs to understand the language or hear signals and so on. And microphone, very well-known technology, which can be used here.
Absolutely. And then we have a last category that I found that is really hard to pronounce. Maybe you can help me here, but it's the sensors that are basically helping the robot to realize if it's if it's in the right balance, in the right position, so to say. So especially important if those robots are meant to walk slopes or climb slopes or moving on slippery grounds. All of this balancing is a very, very tricky thing. Another miracle that we do every day that is very obvious, but for a robot, it's a huge challenge. And we have sensors for that. And I'm sure, Ollie, you can help me with the name here.
Yes, it's the so-called inertia measurement unit.
Okay.
This thing, what we have in our ears, is of course required for a humanoid to balance out movements.
Right.
And it's a special thing which only humanoids have in comparison to traditional mobile robots, because they are not on wheels, they have legs, and they need to balance out themselves all the time. And this is also a very tricky part of the humanoid life.
Yeah. Yeah, the humanoid life is full of challenges that humans take as granted. But I think with this we can leave the senses area and move maybe to the muscles.
Yeah, the muscles of a humanoid are actuators.
That's right.
To be able to move around and also to interact with objects. But first of all, it has to move. So the legs have these actuators, the arms, and also the hands.
Right. Because actuators are special devices that transform electrical signals into movement of all different types. And also you have all different types of actuators, actually. So you have electric actuators, you have hydraulic actuators, you have pneumatic actuators. So there is really a bunch of these devices out there. And that's important also to mention, they are driven by motors and also gearboxes, depending on how complicated the movement is and how big the spread is of in terms of speed. You would also need the gearbox. So no actuation, no actuators without motors and gearboxes as well.
Yeah, and there's another special type of actuator, actually, with coming with humanoids. That's the elastic actuator to absorb shocks. For example, we've seen humanoids jumping around.
Yeah,
and of course, you need to have some technology to prevent from getting the shock of this jump to all the parts of the humanoid.
Okay.
There must be something in between to absorb it.
Like a buffer, like a energy buffer. I don't know how to call it best, but your cushion, basically.
Your cushion, yeah. And another thing which only is valid for humanoids because AGVs are not jumping usually.
No, only when they fall down stairs because they lost their location and went down the right fork.
Yeah, and then they usually break down.
End of life.
End of life. Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue with some humanoid life here. So what we need, a part of senses and muscles, of course, is the heart. And the heart, in that case, and we aligned on that before the episode, is for us the battery system. So you need something to fuel your muscles, your senses. You need this bloodstream in terms of human to go all around your body, and that's electrical power in terms of humanoids, which of course is provided by a battery system. That, by the way, also needs cooling. So cooling is to be seen together with this battery system.
Yes, absolutely. So up till now, humanoids are not falling in love with each other. So the heart might be used for that in the future, who knows? But today it's absolutely important, to power up the humanoid. And thanks to advanced battery technology, it's possible that it's walking around with any type of cable with behind it.
Yeah, that's thank God that's not required anymore. I think that would kill every humanoid use case on the planet. But with this being said, let us move towards the skeleton of the humanoid. So we have all type of different materials that are used, from carbon fiber over like high durability plastics, just, until aluminium and other other iron or I don't know the word, but steels probably, right? So titanium, iron, all of that are probably types of steel in English. So that's totally something that is necessary to carry all of these different devices, all of these different functions.
Yes, and here we can differentiate between the skeleton, which is actually holding everything what is required, all the sensors, all the actuators we were talking about. And then there are parts involved in the active movements, like hands and legs and feet. Especially the hands, of course, are an interesting part of the skeleton, especially if they are designed like a human hand with fingers. It's really tricky to design this with steel, plastic, and carbon fiber.
Yeah, totally. I heard that at the moment, actually the limbs, so could be hands and also like feet, are the most expensive parts of the humanoid because they require so much like high tech, actually, like actuators, motors, all of these materials that are holding it. Then you have all types of sensors to sit in it, and all of that needs to be really small and needs to function very well. So that's a big cost block for many humanoid robots at the moment.
So thinking about now all these parts of a humanoid, there must be something to control all of them, right?
The brain. Yeah, and not surprisingly, we have CPUs and GPUs doing that job. So, similar as with other robotic devices, you need this central processing power to bring all of these signals, all of these information together, to process them and to then advise on what to do, how to react, and which movement to do next.
Yes, talking about the brain, I'm already looking forward to our next episode, which we will dedicate fully on the software topic.
All right.
Because I think it's even more interesting to have a look what type of software we need to run a humanoid.
Yes, so good spoiler for the next episodes and a very nice ending for this Christmas episode, actually. So we hope you guys can spend some really nice days with your loved ones. Hope you can recover from a intense year of work, and we wish you a Merry Christmas and, of course, a inspiring holiday. Maybe with the Automation Awakenings podcast, because we do not stop, and we're going to release a next episode next Monday, just before New Year's Eve.
Yes, Merry Christmas, and hear you next Monday.
This was another episode of the Automation Awakenings podcast. Visit us at automation-awakenings.com.